Hello. All right, you guys. I was having a lot of introspective thought yesterday, and I did finally decide that no, I'm not going to take down this channel. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep trudging forward. And the best way to do so is to get back to the basics, y'all. So I'm going to talk about my first, it's not a player, it's not a coach. I'm going to talk about my first concept today, which is Moneyball. And so basically, if you don't know what Moneyball is, just go watch the movie. But for those that think that Moneyball was like a one-time thing, it's that Billy Beane is still in charge of the Oakland Athletics, if I'm not mistaken. Like, they still run their organization the exact same way. Like, they can't spend the same that other teams spend. And so year after year, the Oakland Athletics have to do more with less. Let's just see where William Lamar Bean III. He's still a general manager. That's insane. I think in the movie it was like, oh, are you going to take your Towns to South Beach? And by that I mean, are you going to take your Towns to the Red Sox? And he doesn't end up, or he did end up, but either way, he's back. So the Cleveland Indians are, and by the way, if you're wondering why I'm wearing this horribly racially insensitive t-shirt, it's because we're still in the midst of a pandemic and I don't plan on leaving my house today. So I can, you know how like some guys, like they go on their yard and they mow their yard without a shirt on. I don't think I would mow my yard in this shirt, but I'll lounge around my apartment in it all day. So yeah, the Oakland Athletics are currently, let's see here, 18-12, and the New York Yankees are 14-14. So the New York Yankees are 500, while the Oakland Athletics, who are still using Moneyball, if you will, and by that I mean they just have to play, they just have less to work with. For instance, Oakland Athletics' highest paid player right now is Elvis Andrus, and he makes $8.3 million. And if you've been paying attention, Elvis Andrus is off to a hilariously bad start. Yeah, one day ago, top story. Oakland A's, time to consider tightening the leash on Elvis Andrus. Let's see. I don't think it's going to tell me. No, he has 15 hits and 97 at bats. So yeah, he's batting roughly like 170. So their highest paid player is Elvis Andrus, and he bats 170. Like I said, Oakland is 18-12. It's not that they're bad. It's just that, like, basically, I think although there isn't a salary cap, I think you have to meet some sort of threshold. Like, you can't just spend like $5 on your team and tank that way. Like, you have to put a certain amount out on the field. And so that's why you get Elvis Andrus making $8.3 million, literally just for them to meet that threshold. Because other than that, their next highest paid player is Stephen Piscotty, also known as Scotty Piscotty. Scotty Piscotty makes 7.5. You don't get to Mark Canha is the first guy that's like, I would say that's in their nucleus in terms of like guys moving forward. Although, dang, he's already 32. Oh, my gosh. Well, either way, Stephen Piscotty's an all right player, but, like, Mark Canha is, like, the first, like, core guy, and he makes $6.9 million. You jump over to the New York Yankees. Garrett Cole makes $36 million. I'm pretty sure if you add it up, see, 10... 16, 21, 28. Yeah, I think if you combine the top 5 salaries on the Oakland Athletics, if you literally combine the top 5 salaries on the Oakland Athletics, I think even then, only then do you meet wow, I'm all over the page today. Only then do you meet Garrett Cole and his $36 million salary. Giancarlo Stanton makes $29 million. DJ LeMahieu makes $15 million. Aroldis Chapman makes $14.8. Corey Kluber makes $11 million. If Aaron Hicks played on the Oakland Athletics, Aaron Hicks would be the highest paid player on the Oakland Athletics. Let that sink in for a moment. Aaron Judge makes, wait, hold on. I mean, why is Aaron Hicks making more than Aaron Judge? I can only assume that's just part of like the wacky way where you can control guys. And yeah, see status. Aaron Judge is still in arbitration. So Aaron Hicks, that is his contract. Like, he made it through and now he plays and he makes $10.5 million. It looks like Aaron Judge is still under the control of the New York Yankees, and so he has to fight for every last cent, basically. Gary Sanchez makes $6.35 million. Gary Sanchez has some of the funniest numbers you'll ever see in your whole life. Gary Sanchez. Strike him out. Well, he bats a career 234. So those are some serious Andy Tracy-like numbers if I've ever seen it. But a two-time All-Star, Gary Sanchez, struck out 125 times in 106 games in 2019. That is literally the only thing you need to know about Gary Sanchez. So not sure why they pay him $6 million. If you stuck him on the Athletics, again, he'd be the fourth or fifth highest paid player on the Oakland Athletics. But I don't think we're going to get any better than Aaron Hicks would be the highest paid player on the Oakland Athletics. That's just such hot garbage. So let's see here. Total. I don't know what any of this crap means. 2021 tax threshold. Okay, total payroll. There we go. The total payroll for the New York Yankees is just over $200 million. And again, they're a 500 team. The total payroll for the Oakland Athletics is $86 million. They spent, oh my God, basically they spent $115 million less than the Yankees did to field their team this year, and they are considerably better. So you guys wonder like what my motivation was for starting this channel and for talking about baseball contracts. It's for that stuff right there. I think baseball is just awesome in that way. I mean, there's just so many people going on and talking about bad contracts in the NBA, like Luol Deng, Timothy Mozgov. Like, we all know what those bad contracts were. There aren't as many floating around now. Excuse me, like Nicholas Batum, for example. There aren't as many of those hilariously bad contracts floating around the NBA as much as there were even a few years ago. But baseball is just such an interesting sport. Like, they play 162 games a year. These guys don't reach their primes until arguably like they're in their 30s. Like, it's such a different game. And it's just so funny that the Oakland Athletics pay pennies on the dollar for their Major League Baseball team, and yet they're so well run that they're able to win this way. Other teams struggle to win this way. I mean, when the Cleveland baseball team finally decided to open up the checkbook, they did it for two players who will burn in infamy in Cleveland baseball fans' memories, and that's Nick Swisher and Michael Bourn. The Cleveland baseball team had never, up to that point, with me being a fan, up to that point, they had never gone on. They'll go and they'll get like C and B free agents like that. Like, they like to go get Casey Kochman, stick him at first base and stuff like that. They went and got Richie Sexson for round 2. But this was the first time that they went out and they got the big names in free agency. And particularly Michael Bourn. Michael Bourn was an absolute stud. I mean, this guy was incredible. Super great gloves, stole bases, and then he showed up to Cleveland. He was truly terrible. Like, Nick Swisher was obviously not what he was in pinstripes. We get all that. But man, Michael Bourn was like I don't know. I don't know if it was just he got paid or what, but Michael Bourn was was, in my opinion, he was considerably worse than Nick Swisher, because I actually had more hope. Like, I thought Michael Bourne was going to be the next Kenny Lofton. I think a lot of people thought that. Like, he was a plug and play center field. Like, this guy has all the tools. Maybe doesn't have much power, but like, who cares? He's the next Kenny Lofton, and he stunk. Whereas with Nick Swisher, like, playing in that short porch with the Yankees, I think he was an All-Star the year they won the World Series in 2009. So yeah, like, he might hit 30 home runs, but like, it's Nick Swisher. I think if I could have gone back, I wouldn't have had nearly any expectations for Nick Swisher. But I certainly, even to this day, like, what in the world, Michael Bourne? What were you thinking? So because of that, um, the Cleveland baseball team has never spent. I mean, I guess like Edwin Encarnacion, but like, they don't hold on to their own players. Like, when push comes to shove, like, they're not investing long term in even homegrown talent, because they've been burned before by signing these big contracts. And by burned before, I mean literally the one time they decided to open up the checkbook, they got burned by it. So they're like, oh no, look at that, we tried the one time. So just don't mind us. We're gonna let every player that's ever been anything for us walk for greener pastures, and they're greener pastures. If you don't have a team that's willing to recognize your talent when they're the one that brought you up, then you should go somewhere else. So yeah, Elvis Andrus makes nearly 10% of the Oakland Athletics payroll. Think if the Oakland Athletics could do it over, and knowing how like shrewd they are, think what they would do with that $8.3 million. Hell, they wouldn't spend that on one guy. No, they know better. They would probably break that down and get 2 or 3 guys that would help their team. So even though it doesn't seem like much, this 8.3 for them is a freaking albatross. Like, they can't wait to get rid of this Elvis Andrus contract. I wonder what he's locked in for. Ooh, no. Wait. No. Also, awesome contract that he signed. He signed an 8-year, $120 million deal with the Texas Rangers. And what do you know? Texas Rangers, it was a declining. He made less and less as he got older. That's a good contract. Okay. I think I understood 15, 20, 10, even 10, 15 years ago when teams backloaded contracts, especially with these superstar contracts, because they probably were fearful of having to pay all that money like right away. Like, for them, they're like, oh, like, wait for like television deals, wait for all that, and we'll have more money to spend down the road. I get that 10, 15 years ago, like, just not having that financial flexibility, like you wanting to sort of wait until more money came in. But there has never been more money in baseball. There's no reason to be backloading these ridiculously long contracts just to screw your team. Like, you're not going to save any money. You're going to lose money, because then once you owe this guy all that money in the back end of his contract, you're probably going to end up trying to do something to get out of it, like trade, and you're probably going to it's not like some teams, oh, let's take on this bad contract. We know they're going to want other things for it. So then you're going to have to give up additional pieces just to get out from under this contract. That's why I can't say enough about these contracts and how detrimental they are. So actually, Elvis Andrus though made $15 million in 2020. He'll make, this says, well, I guess you got to add in the bonuses, whatever, 8.8, and then he'll make $7 million next year. And I don't know. This has to be a team option. Why won't it tell me? Dang it. Because the money more than doubles. Because he'll make, as a 33-year-old shortstop next year who's clearly declining, he'll make $7 million. But then there's this option for his 34 season for $15 million. It would more than double his previous season's salary. That has to be a team option. There's no way that's a player option because obviously he's going to opt into that. Like, oh, hey, now I'm 34 and I'm going to make twice the amount of money that I was making the year before. That has to be a team option. But that's like a really weird one, honestly. I don't understand that. Why? No. No. Oh my God. Okay, so the Oakland Athletics, they have to shorten the leash on Elvis Andrews, or tighten the leash rather on Elvis Andrews. A 2023 option guaranteed. The option becomes guaranteed with 550 plate appearances in 2022, or a combined 1,100 plate appearances between 2021 and 2022. Get him out of the lineup right now. Like, you're telling me that you're gonna pay this guy. Let's see, you're gonna pay this guy $15 million over 2 seasons to decline rapidly in front of your eyes, and then you're gonna have to because we actually played him and paid him. Now we're gonna have to pay him what he's made over the previous 2 seasons. We're gonna have to pay him that combined all in the next season. Oh, and he's a year older. That would be a disaster, especially for the Oakland Athletics. So they have to put him on the bench. He can't still be an everyday player because they're going to end up costing themselves $8 million at least. I mean, if they held on to him for that year at the salary he was making, they'd cost themselves at least $8 million, if not 15. There's no way Elvis Andrews is going to make these plate appearances because there's no way the Oakland Athletics are going to pay him $15 million. He's already their highest paid player, and he makes like $8 million. Yeah, 8.3 or whatever. But no, there is no way. That is something to look out for. Excuse me. That is a very, very juicy nugget. So watch out. We have to watch out to see how many plate appearances Elvis Andrews gets over the next couple seasons, because he could single-handedly bring Moneyball crumbling. He could single-handedly destroy Moneyball forever. They're obviously William Lamar Bean III has a clear understanding of the workings of this contract, and they will do whatever possible to get the value out of him, because at one time he was a great shortstop, a very good shortstop, and maybe there is something there that they can get out of him, but there's no way. I mean, they're gonna have to bring it on from the top, like from the top down. That's gonna have to be a message sent, like, hey, we don't care that Elvis Andrews is on a 12-game hit streak. He sits the next 2 games because, dude, we're not gonna let this guy get 550 plate. Well, if we're counting this year, it would have to be the 1,100. We can't continue to let him build towards these 1,100 plate appearances. Dude, he's gonna kill our team. He's gonna bomb. Like, that is a atomic bomb being dropped on the Oakland Athletics payroll if that somehow is to roll over. That is a really awesome. I don't think I've ever seen that. Like, it's not a player option, it's not a team option, it's like a performance option. And sounds like a team option, though, because they could just choose not to play him. And that would probably be for the best. Not only for right now, because he stinks, and get his 170 average out of the lineup when you're actually a winning team, but that could really screw them up down the road. So I'm interested to see where that goes. Yeah, see, and that's the beauty of doing these contract videos, you guys. We got out to a slow start, as always. I'm the worst at it. Maybe that is my signature, that I'm just terrible at segueing into my video topics. But we made it, and again, like, that's why I love doing these videos. You always end up pulling something. Like, all I wrote down was their records. I was like, okay, I'm just going to compare the Yankees and the Athletics payrolls. And that's how you end up finding stuff like Elvis Andrews' performance-based option for 2023. I love you guys dearly. I kind of made mention of it earlier in the video, but I've been like struggling. Like, do I even keep this going? Of course, I keep it going because these baseball contracts are the gift that keeps on giving. So I will catch you guys on the next one. I love you guys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you.